everyone, welcome to A Fruitful Home and welcome to 2021. I'm super excited for today's video because I'm going to show you how I create our design boards for our flips. This is such an important part of our flipping process. I think real estate investors tend to forget about the design of their projects, but it's so important. And these design boards really allow us to do three things. And I really want to emphasize this because it really highlights how important these design boards are. So these design boards not only help us stay on budget, they also help us stay organized and they help us create a cohesive design. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how I create our vision boards using a program you probably already have on your computer. Okay, so for this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I create our design boards, and I'm going to go through it step by step. You might have a different process and you might use a more fancy program, but I'm going to show you how you can create a really nice, easy design board using a program that you probably already have on your computer, and if not, you can easily download it. So the program that I use is Microsoft PowerPoint. So I'm going to go ahead, open it up, start a blank presentation. Now for me personally, I like and prefer to work with the page portrait style. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first. So you just click on the design tab, and then there's an option here where it says slide size. So I go ahead, go to page setup, and I just want to change the orientation so that it's portrait. Hit OK. I always scale up. And there you have it. So this will be the base for our design board. I usually delete this bottom text box, but I will keep this top text box and move it up here. And this is usually where I like to put the address of the project because we do so many. I just like to keep track of what project this is. So I'm just going to go ahead and make up a project for today's video. If I could spell. All right, and then we can change the orientation if you want to change the font to make it more decorative. I usually do, but I'm not going to do that in this video. So now that we have the base for our design board, I like to go in and start with the color story for the project. So I usually like to select and put down on the design board the paint colors that we're going to use. And usually we stick to about 2 or 3 main colors for our projects. And so for this one, I'm going to do 3. I'm going to do an all over color that we paint all the interior walls. I'm going to select a feature wall color, and then I'm also going to select the door color for the exterior doors. If we wanted to do a color on the interior doors, I would also include that here as well. But for this project, I'm just going to stick to these 3 main colors. So this is where the fun part happens, at least for me. So you want to open up whatever search engine you use. I use Firefox. So I've already pulled up some of the main websites that I use when I'm finding and sourcing products for our flips. So our contractors prefer to use Sherwin-Williams, so that's where I pull the colors from. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter where you pick colors from as long as you have a color code. Pretty much anywhere can color match, but for the sake of ease, I just stick to Sherwin-Williams. Now, I already have some colors in mind because I've recently went to Sherwin-Williams and picked out some colors that I really like. So I'm gonna go ahead and search for the color that I'm looking for. So this is the color that I like for the interior walls for this project. Now you can go ahead and do a screenshot of this color, but what I like to do is pull up Google, type in crushed ice from Sherwin-Williams, and then just copy and paste. So just hit copy image, and this is what you're gonna do with basically all your products. It's really awesome that you can copy and paste into PowerPoint, which is the main reason why I use it, because I don't have to download a bunch of pictures onto my computer. So I just hit copy image, come to my PowerPoint slide, and select paste. Then I move it up. I can play around with the orientation and the size after, once I have everything down, but for now I have this down here. One thing you might want to do when you're doing your design board, this is something that I do at the end, but you might like to do it as you go, is to create the links page. So you want to just create a new slide. I typically put the address again up here and then change the orientation after. But we'll go back at the end to number everything, but if you want to start keeping track now, you can. So you can type in 1, and then you can do, I do wall color, interior, then I just put Sherwin-Williams, crushed ice, and then I will type in for our project manager exactly the color code, which is here 7647. Done. And as I said, I will go back in at the end to put all the numbers in, but for now, if you want to keep track, you can go ahead and do that. So after you've decided on all of your colors, I'm just going to quickly pull up the colors that I like. I'm just going to go straight to Google for this since I know exactly what I like. This is going to be the accent color. Usually we'll pick an accent color to do 1 or 2 key feature walls in the house. Do that here. Again, if you want to keep track, you can. Now, it's super important that you put down these details somewhere on your design board, because it really helps you keep track of a couple of things. One, it lets you keep track of exactly what the product is, where you're buying it from. With the paint color here, I don't put in a link, but if I'm doing a product like lighting or a vanity, I'll insert the exact link that I'm using so that you can keep track of where you've bought it. So there's been a couple times where I'm unsure of the size, and I just go back to my design board and I can see it super easily by clicking on the link, and it just helps you stay organized. A second reason why you want to make sure you're including all the product information on your design board is that it allows you to keep track of the cost of everything. So you can easily see whether you include the price on your design board. I don't, but I do keep a mental tally as I'm going through everything. But you could easily include the price of all your products and then just have a running total so that you're keeping track of the cost so that you stay on budget. As real estate investors, we all know the importance of staying on budget when working on a project like this. So this is called Sherwin-Williams Sea Salt. So I'm just gonna leave the paint colors like this for now because I wanna show you what I do with the products that we use. So after I've selected the paint colors for our projects, I will move on to any kind of hard surface. So flooring material as well as tile. Now, we get our flooring and our tile from local distributors here in town, and they don't have or carry their products on their website. So I will turn to either Google or to Pinterest to get some ideas of what I'm looking for. Usually I can find pretty much the exact thing that I'm looking for and that I put on the board when I go in store, so it's not a big deal. And then I'll update all the product details after. And this way, by doing the design board and finding some inspirations on Google or Pinterest for the flooring and the tile, this gives me something to go off of when I go into these stores. I am somebody that personally hates wasting time shopping. And if I don't go into a store, like a flooring store or a tile store, with something in mind, it's so easy to get overwhelmed. So if I go in with a concrete plan, I can show them, you know, I'm looking for something like this or something identical to this. Do you have it? Can you show me the options? And if I go from there, it makes it so much easier. I'm usually in and out of these stores in less than half an hour. So for this particular project, I know that I want to do a marble backsplash, but I want to do a subway marble backsplash. So I'm just going to type that into the search bar here. And then I'll just go through the images that pop up on Google. When I see something that kind of looks like what I'm going for, I will copy the image and then go ahead and paste it into my design board. And then I'll do this with other flooring options. So this would be the kitchen backsplash that I want to do, and then I would do the same for the bathroom floors, the tub surround, the hardwood or the vinyl floors that I want to do throughout. So I would go to Google, find it, copy it, and then paste it into my design board. Once I have the paint colors and the hard surfaces like flooring and tile picked out, I'll move on to permanent fixtures like faucets, lighting, door handles, those kind of things. So again, the process is very similar. If I want to do lighting, for example, usually I go to Wayfair for lighting. They have endless options and they do really range in terms of price. Another option that's a bit more Canadian based would be Bouclair. They have really nice light options as well. So I would, if I have something in mind, I would check those two places first. And if they don't have what I'm looking for, then I would move on. Sometimes you can get some good lighting on Amazon, but you just have to be careful that they are approved by the Canadian Electrical Board or whatever it's called. I don't know the exact terminology, but some of their lights are not safe here in Canada. So for this particular project, I'm looking for a globe pendant light. Usually I have some idea when I'm starting a design what I'm looking for, but I don't know exactly. So having a sort of rough idea can be helpful. And then I'll just spend some time going through some of the various options until I find something that fits what I'm looking for. So I look at both the size and the price as well as the overall appearance. Okay, so this one looks like something that I would really like. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this image and paste it into my design board. This is purely aesthetic, so you might not need to do this, but because I like to make sure everything fits onto one page, sometimes you might need to crop things out. So you can do that by going to picture format and hitting the crop feature. And when I'm copying products into my design board, I always try to copy the product picture that has it on a white background. That allows me to make it look much neater on the design board. But again, it's purely aesthetic, so if you don't really care what your design board looks like, you just want to get everything down in one place, then you don't need to worry about it. But for me, it's super important to see a visual representation of everything that's going into the space, because that's what allows you to make sure that your design elements all work together and that there's no clashing features. So I'm going to go down here and just quickly update the products. So 3 would be marble, subway, backsplash. So I'm just going to put insert details because I will go back in and fill this in once I've gone to my local store and gotten all the ordering details for our project manager. Oops. And then 4 would be, this is going to be a dining room light fixture. So I'm going to put dining room light. It's from Wayfair. And then I go back. Oops. Okay, so these are the finishes that I want, and then I'm just going to copy and paste the link. I make sure that it's an active link. So to make an active link, just hit insert, go to the link function, paste it, the website link into the address, hit OK, and now it's clickable. So it makes it super easy for a project manager to click on it and then order it. So I'm not going to go ahead and make the entire board because it's pretty much the exact same process. So now I would continue on with the lighting as well as any faucets, kitchen handles for the cabinetry. I'd also include here if I'm not doing a standard kitchen, so if I'm doing like a two-tone kitchen or there's some design element in the kitchen that isn't considered standard or something that we've done in a previous project, I would go to Pinterest and put like an inspo picture here. Also on the design board, I include things like the bathroom mirrors as well as the kitchen sink. It just all makes it so much easier for everybody if everything that needs to get ordered is in one place. Now, before I wrap up this video, I want to show you how I do the numbering. I'm sure there's probably an easier way to do it, but this is the way that I do it. So I will just insert a text box, and then I will do that. Put a 1, and then move it up to where I want it. Then I'll copy this. Oops, don't want to do that. Copy the number, paste. I'll just paste a couple and then I can move them around, and then I'll just type in the corresponding number. So I pasted a few more than I need here. So you can go ahead and delete these. For me, the benefit of using PowerPoint is that I didn't have to download another application on my computer. It's something that I'm super familiar with. It's easy and it allows me to copy pictures from the internet and paste them into this slide without having to actually physically download and then re-upload in the application the various pictures. So that's the extent of what I do when making a design board. The design board itself isn't actually all that challenging. The challenging part comes with finding products that fit your vision of what you want in the space. And that can be difficult, especially if you don't have an eye for design. But all real estate investors should be focusing on design, especially if you're in the business of flipping real estate. You really want to make sure that you're creating really nice and curated homes that aren't just from your local Home Depot. So with that, I'm going to share with you what the design board looks like at the end. Like I mentioned before, I really like to create beautiful design boards that all work together because for me, that's what I find inspirational. But if you don't have time and you don't care, you just want to get the products down on something, then it can go a lot quicker. But I'm now going to flip the screen so that you can see some completed design boards. All right, so this is the completed project. You can see I have everything that we need to complete the design on one page of this document. And then if you scroll down, you can see all of the product details, including their links, on the second sheet. And all the numbers correspond with the numbers on page 1. Now, if you're sending this to somebody else who's doing the ordering for you, what I like to do is I like to save it as a PDF. So you just want to change the file format to PDF, hit export, and then you are good to go. So that's the process of how I create a design board. I think it's super easy and I think it's super efficient. So let me know what you think of this technique. So that's the video. I hope that you find it valuable in some way. Maybe it inspires you to start creating design boards, or maybe it helps you just expedite your own process. In 2021, I plan to upload more videos to my channel because I work predominantly in design, but for real estate investors. I want to tailor this YouTube page so that I give more tips to investors for the design of their projects. As I mentioned at the start of this video, design is so important and it can really make or break a project. So without further ado, hit subscribe if you want to stay tuned and learn more about how you can create and increase the design of your future real estate projects. See you later.